Hey guys, it's Stephanie Graham's the Memory Bear Sewing Business Coach. Um, Also the Sewpreneur. Sorry, one second, I have to mute. I'm watching a documentary, so I thought I would go live now while I have a minute. And of course, the live streaming is what it is on this laptop. So here we are, and I'm not sure if there's any way for me to actually fix it. So if you know how to fix like the blurry or the whatever is happening here, let me know. So we're talking about your ideal customer for your sewing business. And in a little sneak peek I posted earlier this week, I talked about the ideal customer persona. And if this is something that you want in writing, it is in the large planner that I sell in my Etsy shop. And I go as Sewpreneur and on Etsy as well. But we're just going to go over some of the video. Um, or in this video, we're going to make some points here. And if you already have a sewing business and whatever you're doing is working for you, then this video may not be for you. But this is mostly for those that are thinking about starting a sewing business or have a sewing business with no customers or very few. Maybe they're just starting out or they're struggling. If that's you, then this video should help you figure out what's going on and maybe get some customers for you. So I know for my sewing business, now let me back up for just a second. 2022, I don't sew for anybody right now. My machines are in one state and I'm physically in a different state. And the place that we're staying at here in South Carolina, there's literally no space for a sewing machine or cutting mats or boards or my Cricut, my anything. Like there's literally no space whatsoever. And in that little bit of space we have, if I take that up, then my family has no space. So I want to keep my husband and daughters happy. So all my machines are in a different state. Um, let's see here. So we're going to talk about your ideal customer persona. This is some things that helped me in my sewing business, and they should help you. Again, maybe something I say will help you realize maybe what needs to be changed, that kind of thing. Oh, and be sure to stay with the channel because this summer I am I am going to kick off a completely separate series of sopreneur ideas, and it's going to be geared towards individuals of all ages who have the summer off. So if you are a parent or grandparent to someone that would like to learn how to sew and make a business out of it, make sure they subscribe to this channel. Again, just because of rules and regulations, the channel is geared for 18 years of age and older. Um, it's all for the adult um, people. Just because I legally have to say that. All right. So your ideal customer persona, you're going to go over a couple questions, and let me pull up my little slide because the slide will prompt me to help you stay track. But you might want to get some paper to write some things down. And I have to sift through all the pictures and videos of my daughters and my grandson and my son-in-law. So give me just a second. Meanwhile, you might want to grab some paper or something to write with. And if you can record this, I say go ahead and record it. And um, let's see here. I need to pull up my other, I have my phone, by the way, my other app. And okay. If you were watching the little shorts that I put on here, I said May 2022, your ideal customer. And here's some things to go over. These are questions to ask yourself. Okay. How can your business help solve the challenge for your customer? Think really hard on how you can meet that need. So if we go with the memory bear example, then memory bearers can provide comfort in time of sorrow or stress. Maybe your loved one is moving to a different state or country. Maybe your loved one has to go live in a facility somewhere, like assisted living or rehab facility. Maybe they're going off to college. Maybe the person is getting married. All of those situations can either be sorrowful or joyful, but cause stress, and they need your loved one could need a form of comfort. So think about how you and your services will meet the need of your customer. Not everybody is your customer. Don't go into business thinking everybody is your customer and that everybody you talk to is going to be interested in what you do. Whether it's memory bears or not, whatever it is you sew, not everybody's your customer. You might think so, but in the business world, that's not the case. So think about that. That's one question there. And let's see here. You can also ask how will your product and your service, literally break your business down. Think of your business in a big circle. We talked about circles, a few days ago. Your sewing services, think about the products and the services that you offer. You might own a sewing business that has services and products, and those are not necessarily the same thing when it's about a sewing business. Think about your sewing services. All right, so you may offer to make memory bears and sew on patches and embroider or embellish dresses or something along those lines. But you might sell a product on the side. Do you sell helpful tips type of books? Do you sell hardware? I know when it comes to making a memory bear or a sentimental stuffed animal, you could offer the products to somebody else, like the little voice recorder box and like the eyes or the glass eyes, plastic eyes, things like that. Patches, maybe you make dozens of different poems and patches, and so you'll sell that product along with your sewing services. So don't always think of those two things as the same thing because they're not. At least I'm speaking to those that own a sewing business. If you aren't a sewing business owner, this probably isn't the best channel for you. All right. So those are the questions you need to write down and make sure you have the answer to, because the more specific you are, the more clear you are on your answer, the more likely you can target your potential customer. And that is what you need to do, especially in 2022. All right. The next one is, how would your customers find you? Word of mouth really is what has grown my business. But not in the older way when we think about it. Um, when I ran my virtual assistant or online business management company full time, I still run it, but it's on an as needed basis. But when I did that full time, I made more money and gained more customers through word of mouth at a local networking group. And I still believe that that is potential for you and how you can, build your business, obviously. But when you think about 2022 and everything we've just gone through as a nation, online relationships need to flourish. Otherwise, your business is not going to necessarily be seen. Um, there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of noise pulling at the attention of your customers. It doesn't matter what business you own. Unless you have a multi-million dollar budget for ads, you may be just wasting money. So think about how you can build one-on-one relationships with your potential customers and the people that offer similar services and products. Not your competitor. You don't want to join forces, you know, forces with your competitors. And yes, we all have competition. I know there's a lie that goes around saying that you are your only competition. That's only in a that's only in a specific sense. But in a all over business sense, you have a competitor and they are vying for the same customers. So I'm not speaking of it in a different sense. Um, all right. So the next question is, and I want to go with the slides that I did show you. All right. So it was, I titled this one the 80-20 rule. And I don't know how true this is anymore, but you'll still see it floating around that you share helpful information 80% of the time, and then you mix that with business stuff 20% of the time. So let's say you post 5 times a day. Basically, they're saying that 3 of those posts should be, you know, it can be industry related but not be a sales pitch. And then the other two should be the sales pitch. You know your customer base best, and you know your business and how to schedule your content. So do what is best for you and what will work for you. Again, you can share videos of you behind the scenes or your coworkers behind the scenes. We see those videos. Those videos usually get a couple thousand views, at least on TikTok and an Instagram reel, because everybody is nosy and everybody wants to know what their competition is doing behind the scenes. So be careful what you share, all right? I mean, share just enough to pique the interest of your customers without giving away your secrets. So keep that in mind when you're doing behind the scenes videos and posts and things like that. Um, Share stories. You know, if your customer gives you permission to share their story and how they met you and why they need your sewing services, then share that story by all means. Um, Stories do sell, so people don't ever get tired of seeing or reading stories. You could show a product demo, and then mix the content up. Again, you know your business, you know your customer base, you know what it is that they are looking for um, online. So keep that in mind. All right. The next slide is standing out. So, how will you position your business, your products, and your service to stand out on social media so your customer will like you, join in on the likes and subscribes and the following, and I mean, how will they connect with you? Because remember, it's your responsibility to get in front of them. You can't sit back and hope they find you. Hope does not pay the bills. A closed mouth does not pay the bills. So you really need to, if you're, if you're shy, like I do not like going live. I do not like putting myself on video, but guess what? I do that. Um, I just block the trolls and I move on, right? I mean, that's part of life. Most people have nerves of steel behind a computer screen or behind their cell phone, but if they were to actually see you in person, they wouldn't say certain things to you that they say behind that screen. So keep that in mind if somebody is rude or snarky or just demeaning to you, just remember that, you know what? Unless they say it to your literally to your face, just move on, block them if you have to, and pay attention to the customer who needs what you have. Because trust me, if you do any type of sewing, you have customers. There are always going to be customers that need your skills, and the labor market um, is suffering in this particular field. Believe it or not, it is. It's just people like us can't stay hidden behind our sewing machines. We've got to start talking, all right, and sharing what we do and sharing what we know and sharing how we can help them. All right. So, all right. So that's enough of that one, right? That should help you stand out. Let's see here. All right. So here's the persona, and I might mingle my words, but this should help you get a picture of what we used to call an avatar. So I don't like using that word anymore because I've seen the movie and that's not exactly what I'm thinking when I think about my customer. But think about what type of person you are kind of drawn to, because I'm drawn to some very unique individuals in very unique situations that my competitors are not. All right. Just like my competitor, and I'm thinking of a very well known competitor who charges 3 times what I charged for Memory Bear, but they also pay 3 times the amount for their marketing. And I think that's great. If they have steady flow of customers, I think that's wonderful. Their bears were no different than my bears. Um, they looked they looked identical. We used the exact same pattern. We used the exact same interfacing, and it's just I have a passion and a connection with a different type of customer base than my competitor. And there's nothing wrong with it. We are all in different areas of our life. Different stages of our life, I should say. Our businesses are in different zip codes. And did you notice I didn't say different states, cities, towns, townships? Because you can have a competitor in the town next to you and you still do not has the same customer base. So I kind of always go back to a zip code, because literally a zip code is your key to success in your business. All right. And that we'll talk more about that later. That is something I do talk about in the classes that I teach online. The description's in the box below this video. And it should be in the About tab on my YouTube channel, in case you're wondering more about those classes. And the classes are very in depth, and they do include the huge book that I wrote on the memory bear business industry. All right, so we're going to delve. I'm trying to keep this video like under 30 minutes, and we're already past the 17 minutes. So what we're going to talk about now is your the persona, like the avatar of your customer. Really write this down, and um don't overthink it, right? But do give it some thought. So all right, so you want to think about the age. uh who is it that you feel that you have a connection with, the age group. Don't just pick what your competitors are comfortable with. You know you best. All right, you have a connection with this type of persona that your competition does not. On the surface it may seem that way, but really when you start to question yourself and you start writing your answers to all of these questions I'm about to give you, that's when you are going to start to see this um, person take form. All right, so the age or age group or age range, the gender. um, Gender does count, because your customer is going to have a gender identity, so think about that. And you know what, it is part of business. Think about the location. Now you might be in one zip code, but your customer doesn't have to be in that zip code necessarily. Think about where that particular customer lives, shops, worships, that kind of thing. Okay. Their language. All right. I can't speak any other language but English. I've tried to learn. This brain does not connect the dots. So I'm kind of limited. But if you can speak another language, guess what? You just open the door to a whole nother um, customer group. Okay. So think about that. What about their job title? All right. That's important, because that gives you a door or a connection that maybe your competitor doesn't have. I'm not going to share my job title with you, but think about this customer as a whole. And as a whole person, you need to start um, splicing in some or pointing in some arrows about what makes them a whole person. All right, to help you. All right, let's talk about their income. Income is important because a person that doesn't have money can't order your products. A person with no money, no income, no job, or no business, no revenue stream cannot buy from you. So you need to think about how much you think that they are going to um, pay. Hold on one second. I thought I pushed pause, but I didn't. Okay. Social media, where are they? Are they on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, like Parlor? Where are they? They need to see you and you need to be in front of them, so you need to figure out where they're at on social media. This information is free. Don't ever pay for the social media uh, demographics. It is free. You just have to know where to look. Okay. And then what do they read? Do they read at all? Do they like to frequent the library or the bookstore? Do they order their books? Do they read on Kindle? um, do they read newspapers, periodicals, magazines? Go to your local bookstore. Think about what your potential customer is reading. Why does that matter, right? Why do you care about that? Because eventually you want to submit a press release or an interview request to get your business featured in that material. And we talk about that in depth in my classes as well. And then, do they have a cause? Are they part of an organization? What do they do? Do they believe in a certain cause? Are they part of an organization, a professional organization, a hobby organization? Really, these are very deep questions that most of us just don't think about when it comes to our sewing business. Um, and all of this is extremely important. Again, if you're watching this and you don't have a sewing business, this still pertains to you. Um, if you are a company and you're looking for a ghostwriter, right? You want that ghostwriter to realize that they need to be writing to your customers. Right? They can't just write content that nobody's going to care about. You have to think about who is who is your customer? Why should they spend time with you? Why should they listen to your ads? Why should they watch your YouTube videos? Why should they connect with you on social media? As a business owner, you have to wear this hat. You have to know this. You can't necessarily outsource your customer persona to somebody else. Um, I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to, but I don't know if that's something as a business owner I would want to do. Yes, I would love to brainstorm customer personas with somebody, but to say, "Hey, here's a task for you. You figure it out for me." I don't know that that's the safest and wisest move as a business owner. So hopefully today's um, live was helpful to you as a business owner or a hobbyist considering making the plunge as a business owner. As always, you can find me at sewpreneur.com, and the description's under the video. If you're watching this video on a TV, you're not going to see much of the description box that I know of unless that changes. So today is May 13th, 2022. I hope you have a great weekend ahead of you. Again, I'm Stephanie Grams, the Memory Bear Business Coach, where I talk about the business side of sewing and I help sewing enthusiasts go from a hobbyist to a sewpreneur. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.